Dobrodošli, hvala, ker ste prišli v imenu Bienala tekstilne umetnosti, vas pozdravljam. Letošnji Bienale tekstilne umetnosti smo začeli včeraj in bo trajal do decembra in nismo se še odločili, kako, a ga bomo res imenovali Bienale. Verjetno ga ne bomo, ampak tekstilno veselje skozi celo leto. Januarja nas je Vita Ivičič peljala v Volčjo Drago pogledati eno zadnjih predilnic v Sloveniji, kar nam je dalo misliti, da imamo resne težave na področju, sploh ljubitelji dediščine, umetniki, oblikovalci, in pa predvsem tisti, ki se še ukvarjajo s predenjem. Današnji dan končujemo z razstavo ob 6, ki se imenuje Vozli in vzorci, krajine kolektivnega spomina, kjer gostimo poleg slovenskega dela umetnike tudi iz Poljske in Grčije, in obe, poljska in grška skupina, sta se zelo močno ukvarjali z volno, tako da smo jih prosili, da nam tudi povejo nekaj besed. Današnji pogovor WOOLnapreja bo potekal v angleščini, kar smo tudi komunicirali, tako da upam, da vam to ne predstavlja težave, prav zaradi naših mednarodnih partnerjev, ki jih lepo pozdravljam. So I am starting to speak English now. We have been with the biennial team and also other lovers of wool and textiles and heritage in January in the western part of Slovenia to see one of the last spinning mills for wool. It was a sad sight, and we thought something should be done. We are kind of becoming a platform for textile related matters, also a bit more like problematical. We try to solve some things, try to give solutions. And this is why this gathering today is coming to fruition. It's mainly because of Vita Ivičič, who I'm very happy to have in the BN team since February. And we believe the wool project is going to be a longer one. It's a long run. It's definitely not something that we will solve in a matter of few moments, few months. We have 5 very interesting practices, very interesting people here today. First one that we'll present is Kati Sekirnik. She's local. She's a good friend, a colleague for years. She's from Škofja Loka, which is a city nearby, also in this sort of upper Carniola region that you've heard of. Now I'm talking to people who just came yesterday. So Kati will present their part of activities regarding the wool story, and after her presentation we will have Lena Gerothanasi from Pokari project. It's a very inspiring story. I'm so excited to hear all about it. Lena's also presenting her artwork. She was also very influential for other younger artists that were collaborating in the project that we're going to see at 6 at the opening. I feel it's about how important one person is for making a community, reanimating heritage stories. It's always one person that has to be there. And I think, Lena, you're that person for Zagori. Zagori is a village in northwest Greece. And it's what we hear. It's behind the mountains, Zagori. So the third presentation will be from Kresna, Dara, Valečič. Kresna is a designer. She also works with wool, designer and artist, and also biologist. So she's very interdisciplinary. Her approach is very interdisciplinary. So she's also from Slovenia, from the western part, close to Italy. And this will also be an inspiring story. And then she will also, after the presentation, show us her skills on the electric spinning wheel. So this will be exciting. I think the last part is going to be fun. And then we have Urszula Kokoszka from the Gdańsk Ethnographic Museum presenting Marta Sznajder, who is also one of the very important people still active in the reanimation of wool. It's a Kashubian wool manufacturer that we will hear about. And then it's Tončka Jankovič, sorry. No, I'm sorry, Jankovič, yes. Tončka, we met with your husband in the January meeting. And yeah, these are the people who, who still have access to and like this kind of somatic experience with sheep, with the wool, because they have sheep. We can talk about how we like them, but this is a real life. And she's going to present the story of the Bela Krajina area, a region that is sort of secluded in Slovenia, and then later demonstrate this very big sort of I think it's going to be amazing. I can hardly wait to hear all of the stories and then see the demonstrations. So thank you again for coming, and let's kick it. Kati, please.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Zala and Vita, for inviting us. I will present what we do in our craft center, which is really small space in Škofja Loka, really close to Kranj. But what we do, we try to touch crafts in general in really all the possible spectrums and methodologies. But today I will, of course, focus on wool. But firstly, just to create a bit of context of what we do in general, of course, as said, this all relates also to the wool and textiles. So our craft center, this is the main square of Škofja Loka, and our space is just in the middle of it. And we are really happy that we can be on a main square, and we are really recognized as one of the liveliest spots in a town, which of course is because this is really live space. So it's not just the gallery, but it's a spot for crafts people to meet, and of course the wider public to join and learn. So these are all the main tasks that we try to address and focus on. I'll just check. As said, we were established in 2011, and all the activities were there from the beginning, but let's say that all the contents really developed through years, of course. And with each action, each project that we did, we learned something new, and we, of course, developed all of those. But the main point of our center is to connect craftspeople that can be visible to not just to the local community, but wider, and to connect them, because no matter with which discipline they create, they have similar issues or challenges, and we are happy that all the activities that are going on in our center, they are really the base of what we do. So with all the activities, craftspeople, the masters of different techniques are crucial. So just quickly, this is not all of them, but most of the people that are constant or full members of our center. But of course, we collaborate with a wider group of masters on different fields. And here you can see that these faces and their materials and techniques are really different. But of course, wool and textiles are one of the most important ones. And as said, we are actually Craft Center as such present this supportive system for preservation and development of the handicrafts in general. These are some of the most important activities that we do. So monthly we prepare different handicraft exhibitions. One of the most important ones, if we want to speak of preserving or developing the crafts or all the techniques connected also with wool, is transferring this knowledge. So with organizing different courses and workshops, we connect masters with the public, with youngsters that can learn and have this practical experience to have the feeling for the material, for the technique, and then, of course, to deepen the knowledge. Yeah, so I already said also some special activities for young people and children, and it's really amazing with each session that we have. It's really positive feedback, and also we try to change this thoughts or general opinion that actually young people are not interested in crafts or in natural materials, but this is of course not true. They just don't have some opportunities or spaces to have the contact with it. But when this happens, of course, yeah, I think the crowd here understands what I'm saying. And of course, we organize different events to promote, to share, to connect, and so on. So now this is the main thing that I would like to present, and I'm really happy that Bojana Ažman is here. Also, lady at the back, the master or the person that was one of the crucial people that motivated us to start this documentation in this shape as we are doing. Maybe in the beginning I didn't tell that, of course, what we do on a field. Before the Craft Center was established, we went on a field and did different interviews with different craftspeople, but deepened documentation of specific material or technique didn't exist. But then we met Bojana, and because she was teaching a wheel spinning course, and she said, for years I have materials, because she had the vision to create a handbook for the people to have. And at the same time, we also have one weaver that had the similar ambition. And then, of course, we said, yes, we really need this, because in Slovenian language, we don't have any practical handbooks for handicrafts, where you have concrete instructions to learn, to have written materials to go in. So that was the starting point. Of course, we applied for the project, for the money, we got it, and this action could happen. With these two, the first ones, this was the base, and actually the concept of what we try to do was established. So at the back, you will see the whole collection that was produced and publicated through years. Each book has this structure. So in the beginning, we create some context, historical and ethnographical one, maybe on some specific, not just the area, but of course the historical development of the skills that we are then practically describing. Then, of course, the important presentation of the person who shared the knowledge. Then we have presentation of the tools, equipment, and materials, and then concrete phases of working. So this is important. Okay, maybe I can explain it here. So it's we try to present not just the text and the photos, but we added also the video part because it's important in text and in a photo you cannot explain all the details. So it's important to have the video. So maybe I can put them. You can list them and you will see how the text, photo and QR codes are connected. So on a section that we are describing, you have also the QR code connecting you to the video where Master explains and presents concrete work. So yeah, these are the images from the fieldwork. For this first book connected with wool, we visited Kmetija farm Coke in Jezersko. Evelyn and Janez Smrtnik, they are farmers and these are their sheep. So before we presented Bojana's work, we presented also the role of the breeders and the selection of the fibers and also the shearing part. So this is like an intro, and then of course we went to Bojana's home. She really deeply explained everything from the wool washing, carding, spinning, and also natural dyeing. So all the phases, she's the master of all the phases, also knitter and weaver. And in the end of the book, you have also the recipes for the different plants to dye the wool. So yeah, we try to make it all the books as accessible as possible. So the e-versions of the books are accessible on our webpage, and also the whole video is also open. And here are all the team that collaborated with this book. And we are really happy that when we published it, it was really nice feedback, and now we have the first reprint, and Bojana is making a bigger book, which we are waiting. So yeah, this was the really positive experience that led us also then further to next one, that it's connected with wet felting. In Škofja Loka, the hat makers were one of the most important craftspeople for the development of the city economy from the medieval times, and also hat factory was running in Škofja Loka. Šešir, the locals for sure know it. But it closed down in 2016. At the same time, wet felting is one of the, I could say, most popular skills, or it's really reviving. So we wanted to cover it, and the person behind it is Anja Musek. Maybe you know her already, but I believe that she's one of the well-known and really one of the best felters in Slovenia. So the concept and making this handbook was with the same principles. We wanted to cover the basics, so we presented the felting, the 2D layers, then all the basic elements for felting, not the complex ones, but to present the basic principles of the technique. Yeah, so we film it in Anja's atelier, and these are the people, not all. Also Katerina is here, Katerina Šrimpf and Dramin from ZRC Sazu. She also took part with this publishing. Yeah, maybe it's important to say that to have this tiny book, a lot of people are involved. Of course, the most important are the bearers of the knowledge, the people that are willing to share it, but also all others, from the designers, photographers, video makers, all the experts that are involved. So we are really happy that we have this. And yeah, at the back you will see the whole collection that also already exists. But of course, this is just one little thing of documenting or to share the knowledge. These books are important then to connect with all other things that we are doing. Of course, this relates with exhibitions, with courses in life, because of course this is just a book. You cannot learn with if you don't have the one-to-one connection with the master. Also with all the presentations and events that we are organizing, and it's important that we can build this nice library of different crafts technique, because it's not just the documenting and transferring the knowledge, but it's also one documentation of the time and the skill and knowledge today. So we are really happy that we can produce them. So thank you. That was all.
Lena Gerothanasi, welcome. Lena came to the village of Zagori 25 years ago, 23? 23 years ago. And the project we have upstairs talks about ecofeminism. And it was very nice yesterday when Mariana, our colleague, said she's living this kind of life, but she didn't know that it has a name. So I said, like she's walking the talk. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us here. Where I push for going further? Just this one. I'm not very good in computers.
This one.
This one?
Yeah, but it's not working.
It's not working. Better. Never trust technology. The Pokari project. What does Pokari mean? First of all, I want to tell you. It's the fleece, actually. So when we shear a sheep in Greece, it's called one Pokari. In the old times, it was also like a coin, money. You could be paid like a currency. So it was so valuable, a Pokari. So we call our project the Pokari project because we like to start from scratch. So we live around these very nice mountains, and in Greece there are a lot of sheep breeds in extinction now, local breeds, mostly from the mountains. And they are in extinction because the last 30 years the fashion in sheep breeding was to have a lot of milk. So they bought German sheep, French sheep, and all local breeds were neglected. So now they are in extinction. But because everything is making a circle, they are also making a comeback because they still exist in some numbers. And with them, we like to work. Let's see, is this working? So we founded in 2021 a social cooperative enterprise. And we're all around the same vision, that all wool is good. There is no bad and good wool, we think. There is good use for every type of wool. For example, most of the people like the very fine wool, merino, 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 merino. But it's not like that. I love mountain wool because this makes the super tapestries you can give to your children. They never get destroyed because they are rough wool. They stay. A carpet with merino would melt in 2 years, let's say, from friction. So from our base in the mountains, we generally are not trying only to produce a product, but to be the bridge between tradition and modern times. And how all this adventure began. Before 23 years, I went to the mountains to learn weaving. There were still some housekeeping schools that were teaching all these crafts. But there we were weaving with cotton, and I couldn't make the connection with the region because no cotton fields around. So when I stopped the school after 2 years, I started hanging out with all the old ladies that were still alive. And they were mostly all their life around sheep, so I could ask them all the questions that I had. How from a sheep a yarn becomes? How all the procedure is being done? Also, before 23 years, everything seemed a little bit lost. Weaving was not in fashion like it is now. So I had the luck to meet these old ladies that knew everything from scratch. So from them I learned how to sort wool, how to wash wool, how to spin wool with the traditional techniques, how to dye with plants of the region the wool, and then weaving the thick woolen things that were essential for surviving in the mountains. Today in our team we are 8 people, 2 farmers, 2 sheep breeders, 3 qualified weavers, and 3 scientists, 1 environmentalist, and 2 that do cultural heritage management. So we try to see wool from different optics, views, perspectives. What we are trying to do this last years, and I think for all our lives, we will be trying to do this, is to produce again Greek woolen yarn. The region where we live in was always, because mountainous, it was full of sheep and full of these nice breeds. And a lot, the practice of nomadic sheep breeding was there, because the nomads would go up on the high mountains in the summertime and in the mild valleys for winter, because they were always after the green grass. So in the summer still high, there is grass, and in the winter they cannot be on the high mountains because there is snow. So there is a lot of a cultural resource still there, because the people still know, we don't have a lot of nomads anymore, but still there are. And so we have people to ask our questions, to have them as suppliers of wool, but in smaller numbers as in the past. But we are facing a disappearance of the medium scale industries, So all this is facing barriers. We try to do something, then we get stopped because it's not in fashion anymore to produce generally in Europe. All the production has gone to China. But still there are 2 now spinning mills in Greece. And until now we used them to make, so they made our yarn. But we are trying now to do a vertical production. So we try to regenerate wool production. We want to be small scale. We don't want to be an industry, big industry and so. So it's somehow pilotic and experimental, but we like very much to do this. And our focus group is the indigenous breeds and the rare breeds of the mountains, because I appreciate them a lot, like animals also. We are also farmers, because they don't need a lot of medicine, they don't need a lot of food. They can dig in the snow and they eat. They are very robust animals. So also in the last 15 years, the wool has lost totally the price. So when we buy wool from breeders, we want to give them a fair price. So because also shearing is an expense, and at least €1.50 for 1 sheep. So imagine if you have 300 sheep, it costs almost €500 to shear, and you cannot decide not to shear. You have to do this for the well-being of the sheep also. So we try to give them a price that still we cannot give them the €1.50 per sheep, but it will be a great success when we manage this. So when you do a product, like carpets that we do, there is enough to give to the first supplier a good price for the wool. So our dream now, our current dream, is to find a nice place to make a wool hub in our mountains. We have bought machines now, a spinning mill from the 70s. So it's a carding machine, a between machine, a roving machine, maybe it's called in English, and then the spinnery. How it's called in English? Yes, to make the yarn. But all this needs quite a lot of space, and certain space, like a semi-industrial not house. It cannot be in a Zagorian house. It has to be in something like that. But Zagori villages are very traditional and protected architecture, so we don't find there. So we're searching around in the region, and this will be a very nice place. We call it a wool hub, where we can meet with other people, except having our production line. We will receive schools for educational seminars, and generally share our passion for wool and raise awareness about it. Because generally wool is like a forgotten material the last years in Greece. So people need like reminding them what it is, the fantastic characteristics it has. Pleonectimata? All the advantages that all of you, of course, know, the super advantages of the wool. So as I understand, the last 10 years, 15 years, also in whole Europe, similar initiatives like ours happen. So we try to connect and exchange good practices, so imitating what they are doing, or inviting them to our place to share the knowledge. So generally, we want to stay small scale, as I told you, but also to be like to help to support others to have the same activity, not to be the monopoly of Greece, let's say, but because transporting wool is a problem, because in European laws now it's like a special waste, which is also trying to be changed now from a focus group about wool. And we don't want to transport wool, we want to work with it locally. So there is for sure place for other initiatives like ours to be set up in different places of Greece where farming is a lot. Yes, we want to... traceability is also a very big point for us, because we like the material that we use to have an identity, to tell a story. We would like very much to highlight the breeders, actually, because when you have a material, it's very important who starts the material. So we want to highlight the farmers that give us this treasure, the wool. Through all this journey with the Greek wool, we strengthen also the bonds of community, because we need the knowledge of the previous generation to go in front with it, because we are talking now all the time about sustainability. But now we talk about so much because there is no sustainability. But they had the formula to be sustainable, so they came until now. But the last years something is going very wrong, but we try to put it to the other side again. So with our initiative also we can create some new jobs on the mountains. And yes, weavers, because the last 6 years in Greece, weaving has made a great comeback. So a lot of people want to work in this field now. My journey in this started from weaving, but now I'm more interested in the back scenes of creating the yarn, of dyeing a yarn with natural materials, with plants of the region. We are there in a national park, so it has a very rich flora. So a lot of weavers. In November of 25, we finished a school that was under the Ministry of Culture. So 150 new weavers are now certified in Greece. So we would like to use also this community to get further with our project. Also, a lot of textile artists want to use fairly produced materials, and also to know from where they are, and to be generally environmentally friendly with all the things we are doing. Except producing our yarns, we remind people what a fantastic material it is with seminars and different wool gatherings. Lately, we are registered also under the cultural heritage network. This is helping to connect with other initiatives in Europe mostly. Generally, yes, we are very optimistic and we go towards the future with energy. But we're facing a lot of challenges there. So the mountains are getting more empty and empty. Because, no, they were getting empty until now. Because the population was getting older and older, so we were a little bit alone. And also the nomadic sheep breeding, because it's a very difficult life to be a sheep breeder. Was declining, but the last 2 years, a lot of other initiatives, alternative initiatives, are coming back, and a lot of young people would like to stay in the mountains. So, but if you have infrastructure to receive them, there is a possibility that 2 out of 10 will stay also. So all this is making a nice circle, and we are trying our best there. But I see that everything is making a comeback. So we are taking hope from there. Every July, we are organizing a wool gathering. This is now before 2 years, we organized with European Wool Exchange the 4th European Wool Day. That is next week in Ireland, the 6th European Wool Day. These gatherings are very nice to meet other people like you that are not so many, but are getting more and more. So it's a 2-day event that we do all the traditional procedure of wool from the fleece to the yarn, and also giving all the workshops so everybody can offer what he can do with wool, and a lot of guests are coming. So it's getting bigger and bigger. So every July we're doing the Greek wool gathering in a very nice place near the borders to Albania. And it's open, so you are all invited. Thank you very much for listening.
Kresna, Valečič. You're next. I'm really curious how you juggle between biology, conservational biology, and your love to wool. So
It is very good.
it is, right? Yeah. Here you go. Thank you.
Hvala. Okay, so thank you everyone for being here, and thank you to the BN team for the invitation. My name is Kresna Dara. I am a conservation biology student. I work in a protected area here in Slovenia as well, and I am a crafter. So today I want to briefly talk to you about my research and observations on the wool issue, specifically in Slovenia, and a little bit about my creative practice. I will repeat some words a lot, and for some important background, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about the part of Slovenia where I come from, which is called Kras, or karst in English. You might already know the term because it is a type of landscape that we can find in many parts of the world. It is shaped by limestone, a rock that dissolves easily by water. So most of the water flows under the ground. This leaves an environment that looked very harsh, especially in the past. So imagine thin soils, rocky ground, a very strong wind that makes everything look even less generous. But because of these difficult conditions, species learned to endure, and that created many opportunities and ecological niches. So the Karst Plateau in Slovenia is actually a biodiversity hotspot, and it has far more species that we can imagine. But the Karst Plateau in Slovenia is not just naturally rich. It is rich because of a long relationship, a long dialogue between landscape, human, and sheep. This is especially important for the creation of karst dry grasslands. Why? Because for centuries we had sheep that would graze, and they created this landscape, especially low-intensity grazing, transhumant grazing. This type of grazing doesn't destroy life, it supports it. Because sheep move constantly and they eat selectively, so they regulate the vegetation and they create a mosaic of open spaces where many species can coexist, species that would otherwise disappear in overgrown or heavily mechanized landscapes. Similar relationship, we can find similar relationship all over the world. This is not unique to Karst or Slovenia. So we have grasslands all over the world which are very important to protect. What is also important to mention is that sheep themselves adapted to this landscape, to this environment. As Lena mentioned, native sheep breeds, this is how they developed. And the specific grassland needs that specific sheep breed. This is why we need them. They need each other to stay healthy and to not be endangered. But the reality of today, it's not that nice. Many sheep breeds all over Europe are endangered. Also, all of the 4 sheep breeds native to Slovenia are endangered. And also the grasslands that they helped shape. This is because of land abandonment, reduced grazing, and changing agricultural practices. When traditional practices stops, this is when grasslands start to become overgrown, and this is how biodiversity declines. Here we have just 2 species that are at risk, but of course there's many more. One person might think it's just a little bird, but you know, nature, it's like a web. So one species disappears, another one, and then it collapses. And what is also important is that grazing, also by goats and other animals, it is actually a great tool for wildfire prevention. And in 2022, in Karst, we had the biggest wildfire in the history of Slovenia. So, very nice. Why am I telling you all of this? It is all connected, it's all very important, because before wool becomes a textile, it is part of an ecosystem. And we need to understand the ecosystems and the stories behind wool if we want to care and if we want to bring at least some change. The wool of our native sheep is rough and coarse to the touch, but it is way softer in its meaning. And when we decide to use this type of wool from our native sheep instead of wool that comes from far, far away, but it's way softer, or artificial fibers, not only we support these endangered animals, but we also support the small farmers that still have these traditional grazing practices and support very fragile ecosystems. And yet, we know all of this, and still wool is treated by the regulation as an animal byproduct, as waste. And this is why I decided to write my thesis on this issue, because I firstly see it as an ecological issue. I wanted to understand how it is in Slovenia a bit better. I spoke to about 150 sheep farmers that have specifically native sheep breeds. I spoke to some great artisans. Some of them are here today, like Zdenka and Bojana, and to some really great researchers like Lucia and Claudia from the Institute of Agriculture from Nova Gorica. They helped me a lot. So these conversations and fieldwork bring me some insight on the challenges that we face today in trying to process and manage Slovenian wool better and why that is not happening. So I just want to go through some key findings. Okay, it looked better on my laptop. So, some key informations about the issues. First of all, we have some infrastructural gaps. There is no wool washing facility in Slovenia. Actually, there's very few in all of Europe. What this means is that the few farmers that actually try to do something better with wool, they have to wash it manually, usually in nearby bodies of water. One farmer told me it takes him up to 3 months to wash and dry all of the wool of his 80 sheep. So this already makes the process of having Slovenian yarn available extremely slow and difficult. Also, if there's no more people helping them. Then we have only one last small service-based spinning facility. This spinning facility works in this way that the farmers bring their cleaned fleeces, and then they pay for the process, and they receive the yarn back. This spinning facility is great because it maintains traceability. The farmers still have the ownership of the material, and it's really great quality. The minimum you can bring is about 6 kilos, so it's not for the big industry, for big farmers. It's for small local realities. It keeps a transparent, small, green local economy. But also this story, it's not as nice because this spinning facility, we have a little part from it in the picture. It's ran only by one incredible man. His machinery is about 250 years old. It works fantastically, but it is very old. And he is the only one who knows how to use it, so the future of our only spinning facility is very fragile and not secured. In whatever, we do have one big, large collector, actually. They collect roughly so dirty wool from the farmers. They bring it outside of Slovenia because they have huge quantities to be washed, and then they keep it, they transform it in other products that they sell it for their own business. While it's true that this big collector prevents bigger quantities of wool to be thrown away, allegedly, many farmers and many crafters are quite disappointed in this big collector because they believe the way they work doesn't really support a better wool system and better wool quality. Then we can connect that to the next step, which is low economic value. Farmers are barely paid, usually not paid at all, for their raw wool. This is where also Lena mentioned shearing. Shearing costs more than wool. In Slovenia, it costs about 3 to 5 euro per sheep, so that's a lot for a farmer, and they have to do it, of course. So this already doesn't motivate them to try to do something more. From my conversations, I learned that most of Slovenian wool ends up in gardening, as compost, and so on, which is not necessarily a bad thing, it's not a negative thing, but a lot of the wool that ends up in gardens have a much bigger potential. But if they're not getting paid, I completely understand them. They don't have time to try to do something more with it. Then, of course, we have the legal problems, the European Union regulations that treat us wool as waste. So, again, farmers, they don't see it as a valuable agricultural product. And we also here have knowledge and skill gaps. We have a big lack in skilled shearers, so the ones that cut the wool properly and do the selection straight after the cutting. And I learned that we have some incredible crafters, artisans, especially them, actually hold a lot of knowledge on how to process wool. But I think they're not respected and recognized enough. This is where I think the little book from the Rokodelski Center Škofja Loka is very important. So we have this knowledge written somewhere, but we also have to go to these people and learn from them and talk to them and just learn from them and be with them. So I did learn that even though some farmers throw away their wool or use it in gardens, it's not because they don't care. I think most of them care, but fair monetary payment and a transparent and better collaboration is essential if we want to change a little bit the situation in Slovenia. We have wool, we have the knowledge, we have the care, we just really need to try and connect it all together. This is where I see all of this situation like karst. It's a very harsh environment, the European wool situation. But I hope that all of us and all of the farmers, like these strong species, we try to stick together and adapt and make some changes. This is why I tried what I do as a crafter. I think I've been active for the past 4 or 5 years. I knit, I spin, I weave, all of the things. Once you get obsessed with wool, you want to do everything. I do workshops for kids, markets, some exhibitions, residencies, where I always try to share my knowledge on the wool issue. So I just want to show a little thing I did about a year ago. Since I talk so much about native breeds and karst, it was only right that I did try to explore the wool from the wool from the native sheep of my territory, the eastern karstic sheep, my favorite. So this wool from this sheep is seen as terrible, as waste, but I know my ancestors did use it for sure, or our ancestors used this type of wool. So I was very curious and tried to process it. I got some fleeces from a nearby farm. It was a mess, but so this picture is the dirty one. It was even dirtier under it. But then after hand washing it, carded it, this is the result, which is already very beautiful. And I made a cardigan from it. It is rustic. It is itchy, but that's exactly why it's so beautiful. While I was processing it and knitting, I would find pieces of seeds and plants from the karstic grasslands. You can't do that with synthetic fibers. So what are the future steps? It's community, of course. I met some truly incredible people through wool. And we need to connect and collaborate if we want to do something better. I'm already very happy that at the end of September we have a little group where we will wash some bigger quantities together and bring it to the last wool spinnery. What is extremely essential is to try and find a method to keep the last spinnery, otherwise it's over. No, but we need to do something about it. And to learn from everyone, and hopefully in 10 years we can have a similar project from Lena from Greece and from Poland. So yeah, I also have one last quote that you can read on your own. It's from a brand from Spain that I really like, and I think it says very poetically everything that we're talking about today. So you can read it on your own, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Kresna. And now Urszula, Kokoszka, welcome to present, and welcome to Kran. You're going to present a practice that it's not yours, but you know Marta Sznajder probably very well. You work with her from the Kashubian wool manufactory. So yeah, thank you for taking your time and telling us all about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Like Zala said, my name is Ula Kokoszka. I'm from the National Museum in Gdańsk. I am here with my colleagues, my friends, Anna and Christina, and to make some introduction. And we are part of the Knots and Patterns project, and this is why we know Marta Sznajder. Because part of this project was some, I forgot the word, residency, thank you. Was a residency, and it was the time when we can meet Marta Sznajder, and I try to represent her work, her love, her, her manufacture. Firstly, maybe I have a little piece of the Pomerania and Texel sheep. You can touch it and feel how it is. Okay. So, on this picture you see Marta Sznajder. She take care with her partner, Sebastian, some part of the Kashubian region. It's Kaliska Kościerskie, it's a little village near the Kościerzyna. It's 60 kilometers from Gdańsk. And they make some workshop, make a factory. And they start at 2018, and they love is the sheep, and also connected with that traditional crafts of spinning and carding. Here you can see where is this place. So they use traditional methods to process sheep and alpaca wool, because they also have alpaca, 6 probably, yeah. Their goal is to preserve the traditional craft of spinning and carding. They obtain sheep and alpaca wool from animals bred in Poland. They create combed wool ready for spinning, hand spin yarn, and teach this art in workshops. The workshops are really important for them, and I will show you more pictures for just a few seconds. So, I also want to make some introduction to wool tradition in Pomerania region. So until the beginning of the 20th century, large numbers of sheep were bred in Pomerania, and mutton was a popular meat. They also provided wool, which was used in home workshops to make fabrics for clothes. Sheep were bred both on manors and on peasant farms. And here at the picture you can see some traditional washing sheep. This picture is it's between war, the first and the second war. So in Pomerania region, dominant were Wrzosówka sheep. It's a Pomerania sheep. And sheep breeding was connected with local traditions. Before summer, the whole village took part in a communal sheep shaving called ostrzeżenie. How we can hurt from the girls the washing ship is really hard and really hard things. So here we can see that whole village make it to help each other with this process. And the sheep were washed, dried, and shaved. The shaving was also a time for games and a shepherd competition. I don't know exactly what it was, but probably it was really funny. So here you can see one of our artists, Julia, which she take a part of our project Knots and Patterns, and her work you can also see at. Excuse me, can you? It's really hard to say and hear the sound of telephone. So, wool processing was simple. Usually it involved removing dirt and sometimes carding the wool. The next steps was spinning. In the past, people in Pomerania region used distaffs and spindles. But from the 9th century, spinning wheels became common. Spinning wheels had two types. Maybe I back this. Had two types: vertical ones called dogs, and larger horizontal ones. They were made by specialized craftsmen and bought at fairs. And I heard from Marta that every woman, every house lady has their own spinning wheel because it was really personal, really intimate item. Many other things people in the village share to each other, but the spinning wheel was so, like I said, so intimate. So, typical product were wool and woolly linen fabrics. Here you can see from our region, from Pomerania region, some examples. And homemade wool cloth called warp in Kaszubę was usually dyed for blue, red, brown, or dark blue. To get an even color, the cloth was sent to dye houses. One of the longest running dye houses was in Kościerzyna, so it's really near from Kaliska Kościerskie, where is the Marta manufacture. Working until the early 20th century. Well, now we don't have any. Okay. So, decline of local wool production. For many years, sheep have been disappearing from the Pomerania and Kashubian landscape. Today, only a small number remain in the region. In the 1990s, Poland had about 4 or 5 million sheep, but now there are only around 250,000 only raised for meat. So there are no sheep flocks in Poland, breeds especially for wool, which is often, or like Marta said, always treated as animal waste and is rarely proceed. And the last spinning mill in Poland, Lama Bis, in Nowy Targ, closed in March 2025, so a year ago. Here you can see some tools. We have this one in our collection, in our department on the exhibition. And sustainable development and regional identity. We see that more and more consumers are looking for natural alternatives like sheep wool. This is hope for small workshops that could process wool in a sustainable way. Using traditional knowledge, sheep and wool could again become part of local identity. And Marta with Sebastian make what they can to do this. So rebuild local wool ecosystem. Small workshops may be the key to preserving both wool processing crafts and the use of local fleece. For example, Pomerania sheep are mainly bred for meat, but their fleece is still excellent for spinning. We can still feel the old generation when these sheep were used to make a wool. Marta and Sebastian cooperates with breeders, and it's amazing because they know the sheep. They go to shepherds. They help in shaving, and when they go there, they know the names of this sheep. They know where the sheep was eating. So it's really, I think, it's really touching that when you want to buy wool from them, you can know even the name, this sheep, yeah, and exactly where she lives. Yeah, we have here a little information about role of designers. The Kashuban manufacturer, Sebastian and Marta, was a few weeks ago in the Wool Festival in Ostrava, in Czech Republic, and one of Polish artists, Adriana Wojtoń, make the sweater dedicated to the Pomerania sheep. And Marta said that people from Czech and from whole world, they was really impressed about the Wrzosówka wool, Pomerania sheep. And now you can see the result, the residency, because six artists from Poland go to Marta and Sebastian to Kashuban wool manufactory, and they can take a part in workshops. And two works, which you can see on the exhibition, was made from the wool from Kashuban wool manufactory. You will meet one of the girl. Just a second. So. You can see here Julia and Laura works. It is inspiring. It is inspiring from our region, from our designers, and of course it's made from the also the Pomerania sheep, Wrzosówka. Yeah, and here you can see some photo from this residency. It was really amazing because we start on the big table. We can touch and smell many different type of not wool, but yeah, yarn. Sorry, and after that we met the alpaca, because they have they take also wool from alpaca, and we can know whole process how to you know how we can make a yarn to make wool. And yeah, here is the contact to Marta and Sebastian. So they have, of course, Instagram, Facebook, and the website. And I hope that it was interesting for you. And of course, I recommend to saw his website, his social media, and to visit us in Poland, in Kaliska Kościerskie. Thank you.
Thank you, Ula. So our last speaker is Tončka Jankovič. So please join us.
Thank you very much for inviting me here. Thank you to BN people. I would like to show you some opinions and some views about wool in Bela Krajina region, where I come from. And please allow me to read, because I'm not very used to speaking English when I'm speaking about wool, mostly about other things. But yes, I was inspired by wool several years ago, and several decades before, I was working in Bela Krajina with my friends with wool, and what I have to share with you is not just about the products I create, but about a way of thinking and a way of respecting the material, honoring our tradition, and also building a community about wool and all this craft. Go down. Yeah. So I grew up in a really small village. It is called Valečič, and we are in Bela Krajina. It's southeast region of Slovenia, surrounded by Kolpa River, and we are still surrounded by lots of sheep, but not by many breeders. There are some breeders who have 100, 200, 300 sheep, and many of them who doesn't have any. My mother, she has, let's say, just 10, but she would say that there is lots of problems with that. So some work, okay, something is for the meat, but she doesn't know what to do with the wool. So as a child, I was fascinated by the transformation, watching wool moving from the fleece on a sheep's back to thread, to fabric, to finished objects that could warm all family. My grandmother, she knew how to do it, she did it, and I was so fascinated how she could do that. And I remember that every kilo of her wool, she would wash it by herself, she would comb it and then spin the yarn. And later she was able to send some wool to the company here close to Škofja Loka, I think, where they would wash the wool, they would spin it, and then she could get back industry spooned wool, or later she could do the trade. She would say she would send the wool, and then she could get back some blankets or towels. It was possible. Today I think it's not possible anymore. But my family has worked for decades and for a generation with wool. And when I reached adulthood, I knew that I wanted to continue that tradition. Not because of nostalgia, but because I believed, and I still believe, that it does matter. What drew me most deeply into this work was a commitment to sustainability. Before it became just a buzzword that wool is important. I wanted to use what nature provides without waste, without exploitation. So I am passionate about preserving traditional knowledge, the techniques, the skills, the understanding of materials before it disappears with the past. I thought that it would, let's see, maybe it will turn around. I'm sorry for that. But I'm not alone in this procedure. I work with Boris Grabrian, my companion, my partner. He's got a farm, Očerejska kmetija Vuči Ogrizek. We would say the wool's farm Vuči Ogrizek. It seems so funny, yes? But Vuči Ogrizek, it means the bite of the wolf. It was true. His grandfather was bitten by the wolf, and one piece of his face was missing, and this is the nickname of the farm. But yeah, you see, through the centuries, it comes the name of the company. So they produce and process their own wool from the Belokrajinska Pramenka sheep breed, and also the other breeds, but this is the one that is disappearing in the last decades. There is not many sheep in Slovenia anymore. I think maybe around 1,000 sheep, not much more. And this partnership means that we try to control the entire process from animal to finished fiber, ensuring that the standards are and qualities are in every step that we make. But we also collaborate with local craftsmen in our region. We exchange knowledge. We learn from each other, and together we're working to preserve old techniques that might otherwise vanish. Yeah, I thought that it will go through, but it doesn't go. Okay. There's something scared about this knowledge sharing. When an older woman teaches me the techniques that her grandmother taught her, I'm not just learning the skill, I'm receiving a gift from the past, and I have a responsibility to the future. So community is really essential to this work, and we strengthen each other, we inspire each other, and we remind why these traditions matter. So we gather, we are having some workshops, and we try to do the work that we touch the wool and we try to make something of it. Yeah, so what I do, I produce some products from the wool that is treated as a waste, and the textile industry treats it like that. So, as my colleague said, there is nothing industrial where we can wash the wool, where we can really comb it and spin it. Everything is in the air. So we have to do this by our own. Commercial markets, they prioritize fine merino and synthetic fiber. And farmers are really paid very little for their wool. As girls mentioned, the wool itself, it is maybe €0.5 or up to €1 when she is coarse. And you pay the one who is shearing the sheep, and it's up to €6. He does it in 3 minutes. This is a very long period, mostly in 1 minute till 3 minutes. But okay, when you have 300 sheep, it costs you. And then what to do with 300 kilos of sheep wool? You cannot do it all by yourself, so you have to do something with it. Wool is durable, is warm, is beautiful, and it's renewable. So in 2013, I was trying to compete for the award of Bela Krajina for souvenir, and I managed to become awarded with a second award, while I gave to the market this product. I call it podritnik in Slovenian language. We know what does it mean. So it's something that you put under your ass. So you sit on it. And what is important, when people try it, they know that it makes a difference. So every handmade wool piece over mass produced synthetics alternative. It's a really different economic model based on quality over quantity and sustainability over extraction. Today I brought here a big blanket that I make. It's not that we would really need them. It's fine to have it in your apartment, and mostly they finish in modern apartments on big sofas. But how I see it is that it's important that people see what I'm doing when I'm visiting some big fairs, when I'm going around, because then they stop. What are you doing? How can you do it? And then I would like to tell them that I'm doing this from waste. The wool that mostly ends in some parts of woods, maybe in some gardens. When we have 10 sheep at home, like my mother, she doesn't know what to do with it. But okay, Boris, he sells it. Okay, this is something. Or he takes back maybe fleece, maybe yarn, because I need it. So it's always 50 kilos of yarn at home. And I really like to use it. And as always, it's not important just to use the yarn. There are also lots of skin, sheep skin, and we also didn't know what to do with it. So I tried with some hats, and I found it very something that girls like to wear. And bigger it is, better it is. Believe me, they like it. Yeah, those pompons, they make difference. Wet felting is something that we can do, and that we make workshops. We can do this with children, with older, with anyone. It's a small part, but always something that you can show what really you can do in a short time, and you can use it. So it's useful, and we are using the natural fiber and something that we have in big amounts. And every year several times I go to different places. Last week I just came back from Berlin, last year from Prague. I visited lots of places. They invite me to knit there because people stop. And then, where do you come from? And then they start to speak, and they can help me, you see. They can, we can connect through this and speak about the wool, this ancient thing that maybe really is now reviving back, and it became important also in Slovenia now, maybe last decade. When I was, let's say 40 years ago, it was going down. Nobody wanted not woolen slippers, not woolen socks, not the hat, nothing, the jackets, nothing. But today, yeah, it's slowly coming back. So I don't want to be very long. I say wool rules because, in my opinion, it's the very best natural fiber that not that just heats us, but it's protecting the temperature of our body, and also we can learn a lot from the people, from sheep, and it can be used in everyday life. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Tončka, Lena, Ula, Kati, and Kresna. We promised questions from the public, a debate, and I would like to say, I know it's big, you're probably a bit tired. I got questions when the pause is going to be, so if you agree, let's say in 15-20 minutes we do a pause and then the demonstration of the Tončka and Kresna's practices. Is this fine with you? Okay, so do you have any questions for our dear guests? No questions? Yes, there are questions. Yes. Mariana.
A question on the certification process, because it was said that you're a certified craftswoman. Yeah. What is the certification for it? So it's done from the Chamber of Craft of Slovenia.
Yeah. It's Slovenia.
So what is the process for being certified as a craftswoman?
So the last certificate I got was Znana Povelka. I don't know how to translate it in Slovenian, in English.
A renowned craftswoman. Renowned craftswoman.
So I had to give to them some details about my work. Maybe if I had some exhibitions, maybe some awards that I got, and I did, and it was excellent. And I got my first certifications started with slow art craft. So I started with some embroideries and like that. And when I made the piece before I gave it to the Biennale, I sent it to this WOOLthREADY for certification, and I got the certificate because of original name, because of use the wool that was 15 years ago not that much inspiring, it was still in Slovenia, and with that I got the certificate for the wool, yeah.
Can I just say something? The system works so you get a certificate per item. So per item, yeah. So you submit the items that you want certified. You have to fill in forms, and then there's a committee, and they discuss if it's good enough, let's say. So then you get a certificate, and you have this basically, you're allowed to put that certificate on each item that's the same timing. Yeah.
Are we okay without the microphone? We're hearing each other?
Yes.
there any other question?
I'm curious, what does the pokari word mean?
Pokari? The fleece. The short wool of one sheep.
In Greek.
In Greek, yes. Thank you. Okay.
I have also a question for you. Is this project like business oriented, and do you make a living for all of, I think, how many?
We are
five people.
Not yet. It is how we produce now the carpets and the yarn that we produce and sell are coming again in the enterprise to set up a stable base for it. So in the first years we invest all the profits into the enterprise, the social cooperative. And now there was we have asked for a program, not asked, the municipality did a program for 3 working spaces that they will pay to us. And maybe if we get this program, next year we have 3 paid working spaces from the municipal prefecture, the bigger region. And this will be very helpful. But still, what we gain from the products, it comes in the enterprise. But when we do the workshops or when schools visit us and so, everybody who's participating as a member is getting paid for his hours there. But still, it's not a stable job. We have to do a lot of other jobs to support our passion and vision. Yes.
What are the breeds that you work with? The Greek
It's Greek names. Karamanico, Kalaritico, Pardas. It connects with the regions that they exist, the names.
And do you know roughly the microns, or like we're talking about, I don't know, 38?
Over 30.
38
Over 30
okay.
microns.
I just wanted to say something because a lot of people, like, when you work with local wool, you always say they're not fine, they're rough, they're itchy. But I prefer the New Zealand terminology, where they also have local breeds that are not merino, and they call it strong wool.
Not rough.
And I think, not rough, but strong. And I think that's a really nice and positive name for a fiber that, like you said, merino is fine, but it's very fragile. But the coarse fiber is like strong, and it gives you different properties, which are also very good.
Perfect. So we have used it of strong wool. Strong wool for strong carpets.
For strong wool. Any other questions? Please, we can just continue the debate. Please.
I'm wondering, like, all the practitioners, did you all know each other before this presentation? Were you all aware of each other's work?
I think the Slovenians are aware, very well. We know each other quite well.
Because I'm wondering, like, are you aware of any kind of initiative or project on a European level connecting all the practitioners working with rustic and local wools? If there's some kind of container or directory of these practices?
Container?
Yeah, some kind of project that collects.
As I know, there is one community that is inside. I know with boys. No, I'm connected with this European thing. It was on
the project.
Yeah.
Oh, this is like just a Horizon project. It's more like research.
More. Yeah. We thought that it's more about wool, but it's more scientific about the research. There was one old European thing a few years ago when we were connecting with other European associates. Do you remember?
European Wool Association?
Yeah.
There's the European Wool Association and European Wool Exchange.
Exchange.
These are like NGOs.
Something is, yes.
But not just Slovenia, but just Slovenia.
We are just participating in
Yes.
online gatherings, but we will go to the.
Lucia, you're working on one.
Yes,
this
foundation.
Yeah, the European Wool.
Eva and
Eva, yes.
yes, are the ones that are gathering all the initiatives in Europe. But it's a little bit funny that these two foundations don't get along.
Different views.
So, but I cooperate with both of them because we have the same topic. It's wool. Come on, guys.
So what are the benefits of being part of this association? What do you gain from being included?
If you are in a network, let's say next week I will go to Ireland to meet the Irish initiatives and so present Kokari again. It's like a gathering opportunities and you exchange knowledge. And it's important to be in a network.
In the way that you know what is happening in other countries and how do they do the work and how do they compete with this waste. What to do. So, where do you wash it? Exactly.
Until last year, there was a big scouring plant in Greece, but it closed. He doesn't say he closed, he didn't open this year.
So they closed all those, all this industry and not just closed, they sold all the machinery. They cut it. All the iron coming and sold by kilos. More than 10 years ago.
And then you get really blocked. If you have only dirty wool, how to proceed? You cannot proceed with tongs then, because try to wash at home wool, even you will do 1 month for 10 kilos.
Well, Lucia, there's an interesting initiative you were talking about. Slovak collective bought a washing facility.
VOLNA. So VOLNA is an initiative in Slovakia. I think there are 3 designers. One of their brands is also Kokoszka, and they started a mini mill. So they have a mini mill, but I think we try to connect with them for one project during the summer, but I think that they're also really struggling financially. So similar issues as you mentioned, but yeah, they tried to start a brand of Slovak wool. So they are connecting with farmers, they are buying pieces from them and receiving them in their mini mill.
And mini mill can be purchased. It's like somebody's.
Yeah,
seen it.
Yeah, you know that there are two companies in the world. Yeah.
Yeah. And one is European. No.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Ramela. Do you know it?
Yes. 200,000 euros.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember Boris saying that all the wool that you produced, that was there for years, months, and then he drove it to other parts of Slovenia, and then it was washed in Belgium.
Belgium, yes.
But then maybe if there's a cooperative on the European level, this could be interesting. Maybe just to have few regional hubs that can wash the wool.
Yeah, I think in France they're also trying to develop a moving facility for washing.
Wow.
Collectif Tricolore is one initiative in France that try to connect all the stakeholders in the chain, really from the farmers to the more high-end producers. Yeah, and they have the same problem. So there are quite a lot of projects around Europe trying to basically solve the same problems. Yeah.
So that's why I think Ariana's question was important. So if there is a common network, common the problems are similar, but if you do it by yourself, then it's even harder.
We applied, let's say, I'm from Technology Park Ljubljana, and we applied with Tricolor with one project.
Urban space.
Urban space. And there is an initiative also at the more policy level, so we're trying to connect all the stakeholders and initiatives to be supported further, not just when there is a project and then it ends and it's over. So we are trying to implement continuity of this support.
Yeah. And I also with quite many European partners, we applied for Horizon project. Basically trying to connect these small producers, local producers that are heritage-based, like yours, and try to connect them in the system or create a system so that the knowledge can be transferred through different countries, not just in one region or in one country. But unfortunately, yeah, there's still hope, but we are on waiting list, so we probably won't get it.
Yeah, but it's bizarre how European narrative is so full of sustainability and green transition and everything, and there's real life stories like yours struggle so much.
If a value chain breaks, this can happen in 1 year, but to restore it, then it takes a lot of time. And especially if the machines are broken into iron and sold as iron, where to find machines again? For example, this from the 70s that we have now. When we need spares, it's difficult. And I think Ariana's links in Italy, maybe there are still produced things for the spinning mills that.
Yeah, we have a lot of machine making in our district, so a lot of people, they have old machines and then they adapt them and they build new parts for the old machines, so there's a lot of crafts around the construction and the maintenance of the old machines. But you are right, it's very hard to maintain and very difficult if you don't have a wider network around you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any more questions? If there are not, then it's going to be a platform for talking and debating later on. I suggest a 10-minute pause to get some drinks, toilets, so on. And then, we can rejoin spinning. Thank you so much again.